Okay, get the chat room going. Hello, everybody. We're getting everything going here. I'm getting everything going here. I gotta stop using the we vernacular when I'm the only one here. Alright, I'm getting the chat room up right now. Alright. Hello, everybody. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, and this show is called The Sights and Sounds of Earth, and we're on just about every night at 9 p.m. Any night that I can be here, I'm here, which is usually 7 nights a week, sometimes 6 nights a week, but I do what I can for you guys. Alright, so let's take a peek here, see what's going on. I want to let you guys know that we are broadcasting live tonight from Starship Studios in North Fort Myers, and we are broadcasting worldwide on YouTube, the world's largest broadcast platform, and we are transmitting to the internet via fiber optic, and we are very happy with the fact that they ran fiber optic down into our neighborhood. Okay, so there you go. Just some updates. I'm still working on speccing out the laptop exactly the way I want it, but I am purchasing a broadcast quality laptop. It's going to be probably about a $1,600 purchase, and I'm going to be making that coming up in the next week or two when I get my next paycheck. The reason I'm buying that is because I want to be able to do full shows in the car, and I'm keeping the jetpack, I'm keeping it turned on, and I'm going to be doing everything I can to be able to produce shows in the car using multiple cameras and screen captures of my radio and all that kind of good stuff. So it's important for me to be able to put on a good show both here and on the road. If I want to go cover the Edison Parade this year, okay, I did it last year with a cell phone. Really don't want to do it that way this year. I want to go down there 3 or 4 hours ahead of time with some kind of little table that I can set up with my laptop and set up 2 or 3 cameras in different directions so that I can switch cams, and I'm literally going to stand there and not only narrate it but produce it as well. And it'll be a much better show than me just holding my camera like I did last year. And I'm going to be working on trying to provide shows in a better, a better format, and this multi-screen. I want to be able to do. I'm buying a laptop that should be able to do the 6 screen, like we've got right now. What you're seeing right there is a 6 screen. I'm trying to buy one that will do the 6 screen. I'm hoping it will. Okay, so what do we got going on? Well, upper left, Sakurajima over in Japan, the big Sakurajima. I always pronounce it wrong. I don't know. You know how long it took me to say Fukushima Daiichi? Anyway, the point is that Volcano, they've got it zoomed in a little bit right now, but that one is angry. So we're going to be watching that one right now. Let's see. The other thing, we've got Manila, Philippines. Anti-corruption movement going on there. And this is either live or near live. And this is what's going on there now. Over 600,000 protesters took to the streets of Manila in the Philippines today. And they are protesting the corruption within their own government. Gen Z march in Mexico City. They are not happy with President Sheinbaum there, and they are out rioting. And you can see them there throwing rocks at what looks like about 1,000 cops with shields. And that's in front of their, I believe that's in front of their big government building there in Mexico City. I don't know what it's called, but and there you go. And then, of course, right over me right here, we've got the ICE protests in Portland, Not a lot of good video coming out right now, but I do have several views coming out, and so I've got them up there for you, and we'll keep an eye and try to get some better views for you guys. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about in there. Also on the over on the radar Omega, we're tracking a storm system coming across through St. Louis right now. Now, right now we're not seeing any severe weather warnings right now at all with this system, but there is a marginal risk today of strong weather in this area right here. So we're watching that, and there is a storm cell going through St. Louis right now that's actually, like I said, right there in St. Louis. But right now, nothing severe, and we're watching out on some different cameras there. You can see the lightning starting to flash off in the distance there as the storms approach. All right, so there you go. That's what we've got. The sights and sounds of Earth I've got up right now. We may switch something out later, but that's where we're at right now. And I hope you guys enjoy it. This is the purpose for this show. And I've said this a number of times, but it's important to understand why we do the show this way. And here's why we do it this way, okay? I work at a TV station, and when something big happens, I will go walk down and sit in the back of the control room, and I can see all the network feeds and all the cable news feeds and all the local camera feeds and all the national camera feeds, and everything you can imagine feeds into that room, and it's on the like 53 different little screens all up in front of me on a black wall. And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could bring that same experience of, instead of me showing you a picture of this and a video of that, I could just show you everything at one time. And then that way we can kind of all keep an eye on everything that's going on together. And that's kind of the format we use here, guys. It's a little weird, you know. I get it. It's different, but you may like it, and a lot of people have liked it, and that's why we are continuing to provide this every night at 9 o'clock. I try to be here literally every night. Yeah, Victor, and I do believe that that's what we're talking about here. I believe that's the palace right there. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that is impressive. Hey, Heath, how's it going, buddy? Listen, Heath, I want to show you. I got my radios set up. I used to have all my radios right here, but I moved the Linux machine right here. And I moved my VHF and UHF equipment up here. So that way I can still have that up there, because that doesn't mess with nothing. However, I have an issue with HF messing up my computers and restarting them while they're live on the air, while I'm broadcasting or transmitting. So here's the thing I did. All my computers for that end of the room are way over on that wall over there, underneath the counter on a second shelf. All the computers for this side of the room are on this back wall over here. So these radios are literally 6-7 feet from the nearest computer on this side, and 7 feet from the nearest computer on that side. The wires are going to come right out the back and go straight down into the floor and out. They're not going to run anywhere in here. They're going to come in and go straight out. And I'm going to wrap them both with tinfoil to make sure I keep the RF in here as low as possible. I could never do RF while I'm on the air, because as soon as I key it up, my mouse quits working, my keyboard quits working, my router goes off the air. I had all kinds of problems. So I'm trying to avoid that now by taking the radios that are here now in the middle of the room, okay, and running the antenna straight outside, and that way I have 6 or 7 feet of separation between the HF equipment and the computers. And I think that's going to make a lot of difference. Well, thank you, Jungle. I appreciate that. And yeah, thank you, Wendy. Yeah, well, and I'm a multitasker too, and I like to see it all going on in front of me at one time. I like to be a spectator to all of it, and so that's kind of what we're doing here. It's a neat format. It's not always perfect, you know. I mean, sometimes I come on the air and everything I've put up goes off, and I'll be sitting here trying to scramble around and get it back up again. But hey, it works. Um, all right, reading through the chat room. Hey, Eyes on Heaven, thanks for stopping in. Good evening, Bill, Victor, Heath, all you guys that are in. Thank you very much, Wendy. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I use the term guys very loosely. Oh, hey, Carlotta's in. Hey, how you doing? And Al Pastor. And a special thanks to all of my moderators out there. Once you're in for a month or so and I get to know you, you know, a little bit, and I see that you're, you know, participating and you like the show and all that kind of good stuff, I'll make you a mod. I do. I make everybody mods once they've been on for a little while. So we'll let that go. You guys, once you're here for a little while, we just make you a mod. I got Junior and Carr and Victor, and when these guys tell me that someone that they think is ready, then I give them the wrench. That's what we do. All right, let's see here. What else do we got going on? We are going to continue to watch this weather system move across, and I will cover any warnings that come in. But right now, there is no warnings. It's just this fairly wide, but not very strong system moving through the center of the country right here. This is typical for a winter frontal system. The air out in front of it's not warm and moist because we're kind of getting into winter now. So you don't get as large of a differential in your air masses. And when that happens, you don't get quite as much lift, and therefore you don't get the big huge thunderstorms and the long track tornadoes and all that kind of good stuff. All right, let me look over here. All right, and the other thing I want to mention tonight, as far as space weather goes, we are, as of today, we are out of the strike zone. That big, huge sunspot cluster that had been percolating for the better part of 12 days or whatever has finally moved over off the right, off the eastern limb of the sun, and is no longer no longer can be seen by Earth, okay? So it's no longer on what we call the visible disk, okay? So what's going to happen now is that sunspot's going to go around the back. One of three things is going to happen. It's going to retain a similar size and strength. Number two, it's going to fade out to almost nothing and probably just come around as a small little sunspot or something. Or it could get even larger and come around as a major sunspot in 12 days or so. We just have to watch. We have to watch and see what happens. We do have some spacecraft out there that will give us some indication as to what it's doing. We do have some ability to track what's going on beyond our visible abilities from the planet here, because what we've done is we've put out, they call them SHOHO, and they are spacecraft. They're not satellites. They're spacecraft because they're not orbiting Earth. They're not orbiting the sun. Or, I'm sorry, they're not orbiting the moon. They're not orbiting Earth. Technically, they're orbiting the sun. So that basically makes them a spacecraft. Anyway, Fort Smith, Arkansas. Let's see. Yeah, I think, like I said, these images are not live. They're near live or as live, but they're not live. I understand that. I don't have live footage of what's going on there right now because it just got dark there. I don't know what happens there at night on protesting. I will look for other videos. Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of times these videos are older, but both of these were purportedly from today. But they could even be from yesterday or over the weekend. That's true. It is what it is, guys. I'm showing you the sights and sounds of Earth. I try to bring you the newest content I can find. A lot of times, most of what we do stays in the U.S. There's a lot of stuff going on. Right now, there's not a lot going on. There's this little small protest with about 12 people involved out in Portland, Oregon. And then of course we've got the Philippines, we've got Mexico, and there's about 3 or 4 other incidents going on out there too. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. But in the country here, it's fairly quiet right now. But I am going to be doing a check of all the news here in just a few minutes, and of course we take a look at the tropics. But that's we're past that now. I think we're out of the woods when it comes to the tropics. Okay. Solar storms, they distort atomic time radio signals. To ham radio operators, no sound is more soothing than the metronome broadcast of the atomic time signals from the WWV time station. It has rarely changed in more than 100 years. On November 12th, however, it changed. And I'll tell you more about what that WWV is. I'm going to tell you about that tonight here in just a minute. Mike Backus, KB9 ZDD of Davis, Illinois, recorded strong distortions in the broadcast during a severe geomagnetic storm. And I actually have that audio, which I thought you guys would think is cool. Yes. Okay, so what I basically have here is I have a clip of that audio. I just got to make sure that you guys are going to be able to hear it. So hold on, let me get that set up. Now, the time station is normally a clear broadcast, and it goes click, 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 and it does different things. It's so that you can sync up clocks and things like that. And they've got these on a bunch of different bands, and it's not necessarily a ham radio thing. It's a radio thing. I don't know exactly how it works, but I do need to switch this here. Let me get this onto here. All right, Windows Media Player to Cable D. Yeah, let me reset this sound stuff here real quick. All right, so yeah, isn't that band everything? I think I've heard of that one. That's something else. All right, so now I've got Cable D, Cable D, Cable D. So now I'm going to change all these to Cable C. Believe it or not, once I get everything set up, then I have to change it to a different one, and then go back into my program here and change it to Cable C, and now you'll be able to hear everything. It's Windows is very convoluted how it handles things. Okay, so now you can hear that, and you can hear the button bar. The more you know. Okay, so here it is. Basically, what you're going to be listening to is the International Time Beacon, which sounds like a metronome. And it plays different tones and different things that allow people to time sync things down to the second. And it's an older system, but it's kept up and it's kept going. A lot of this is being done now through other means. But let's just take a listen to it. What happened was this guy was in this guy, where did it say where he was? In Davis, Illinois. Okay, he's in Davis, Illinois, and he was recording the time station from Fort Collins, Colorado on 10 megahertz. And while he was recording it, the auroras got really bright outside, and he recorded the warbling and the phasing, the intermodulation, all the different weird things that you hear during this. So you're going to get to hear the time signal in the background, but what we're really listening at is the distortion that we hear in the foreground, and it's warbling and what they call heterodyning, well, let's hear what it sounds like here. Let me see. Put this over here. You can hear all this that singing, strange singing sound is actually the warbling caused by the aurora. Isn't it beautiful? It's like amazing. The thing in the background is what he was recording, the metronome, the international. Did you hear it says at the tone, the time will be, it's one of those kind of things. But ham radio and everybody in radio uses these things as a way to test propagation. And so a lot of people record these things. I know somebody that turns it on and helps them sleep. So it's one of those kind of things. And this guy recorded this one, and all of that weird sound, all those weird sounds you heard in there. The only thing you're supposed to be hearing is the man's voice that says, at the tone, the time will be, and that clicking metronome, and that's about it. Everything else in there has something to do with the atmospherics at that moment in time. So a very interesting thing that happened there. I just thought you guys would find that interesting. If you want to hear it for yourself or you want to read more about it, spaceweather.com. Spaceweather.com. I highly recommend, and I'm not being paid by these people. I always say that. I have no paid sponsors like that, but I want you guys to know. I have people send me free stuff to evaluate, but other than that, I don't do paid sponsorships. Yeah, man, something like that can certainly happen. There has been signs that over the millennia, there has been a lot of calamities, both caused by sun, caused by extraplanetary bodies coming in, asteroids and things like that. Also, just here on the planet, we go through major changes here on the planet in temperature, in climate, and there's just it's when you look at the Earth on the grand time scale of how long it's been habitable for tens of thousands of years. And we're only experiencing it, about 90 years we'll experience it, so it's a very small portion of it. And what we understand about weather and climate and science about all of it is still very incomplete. There you go. Yep. Yep, yeah, deploribus. Yeah, I know that with the newer ones, the atomic clocks are pretty cool. They set themselves and they use these same kind of signals. Maybe not the same one we're talking about here, but yeah, it's a neat science if you guys look into it. Time beacons and stuff. It's neat stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there is a tone in the background, but that you heard the tone going. That's the warbling that we're talking about. That's being caused by the aurora. So yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Marco. Yeah, I need to be clear with that. There's like sometimes there's a tone in the background, and that tone is what was being attenuated up and down, what they call heterodyning up and down at the time. So I just thought you guys would find that interesting. It was an interesting thing that happened there. Um, During strong geomagnetic storm, the Earth's ionosphere becomes turbulent and full of like bubbles. It says rapid changes in electron density cause shortwave radio signals to flutter, which is what we heard. The same fluctuations. You okay? You all right? Ever since she got really sick, she still has like shit in her lungs. Here, let me get you a paper towel. Here, do it on this and not my keyboard. Thank you. Okay, so anyway, it's like a wavering pitch, like an underwater effect almost that happens. The same fluctuations can affect GPS receivers, even much higher radio frequencies, causing GPS farm guided equipment to act crazy. And there was a story on that, not this last one, but the one before that that we saw here in Florida. There was farm equipment that went off course and shut down and did all kinds of stuff. Nobody was hurt. It wasn't like the movie Maximum Overdrive or anything like that. But there was a few of them that malfunctioned because the signals that the GPS was receiving was being hydrodyned and attenuated in such a way that the machine couldn't figure out where it was. And so that's basically what happened with that. Did I podcast the spaceship yesterday? No, I was on last night at 9. We did a 2-hour show last night. Heath, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I'd have to study that. Haven't. I've been so busy, guys. I haven't even had my normal contact with the news much. I did go in and do politics today for 3 hours. Yeah, Canada has time stations also. Let's see here. Yeah, it should be calming down finally. Let me see where we're at with the HF propagation stuff. Let me make sure I've got the latest. Yeah, the K index has calmed down to 2. The solar flux is low though, only 122. So it's not going to be all that helpful, but well, welcome back, Mickey. We're glad to have you. Northern Indiana, Marco. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's still. It should, like I said, it should be calming down pretty soon. It's amazing how that works, though. It just absolutely amazes me how the how space weather affects HF radio so amazingly. Now, of course, the higher the frequency, the less the effect. Isn't that right, Mama Kitty? That's right. Okay. All right, so where are we at here? Let's see. Looking at tonight's Aurora Oval. Aurora's probably not visible much of anything. I mean, Greenland, Iceland, northeast Canada, possibly, but not much tonight. Very calm. Not much going on with that. Wow, man, that'll pick up anything. Yeah. Yeah, I have no clue either. If you get a really clear signal, you can try recording it and running it and asking Google what language it is, or asking Google if it can translate what it's saying. I think there's services out there. You can literally record their conversation and feed it into something. I haven't tried it yet, but I know you can do it, and it will translate what it's hearing into English for you, and you'll be able to figure out, are they in El Salvador, or are they in, Guatemala or Brazil? You'll be able to figure that out. There's a lot of ham radio in South America. It's kind of weird. 10 meters tends to run more north than south. 20 meters tends to run more east and west. I have made almost as many South American contacts on 10 meters as I have on in North America. It's very strange. 10 seems to like north and south. 20 likes east and west. It's just a weird phenomenon that happens. If I'm calling Europe, 20 is a much better deal. But you know what? If I was needing to contact Brazil, or I was wanting to get a contact down in South America, I would probably start on 10 if it's in the middle of the day, because that's where they seem to be. I don't know why. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, when you're, hey Carl, when you have when you're just receiving, you don't have to be resonant. You can just run a long ass wire and just collect as much of it up as you can. Does it help to be resonant on a receiver only? I've heard people say both. I've heard yes and I've heard no. I will tell you, I personally believe that if you use a properly tuned antenna that's cut to the proper length for what you're receiving, I actually believe it does perform a little better. But the truth is, if you're wanting to pick up especially the lower bands, just run a long ass wire and make sure you isolate it so it's not touching any trees. Make sure you use a bungee cord on the end. I always suggest to people, on the end of your long wire, instead of putting an isolator or something like that, just use a bungee cord. I take the hook off of one end of a bungee cord and I tie my wire to it, and then that way there's no metal on the bungee cord on that end, and I just tie my wire through the little looped over piece of bungee cord, and then I hook the other end of the bungee cord onto whatever I'm hooking it onto, and the bungee cord acts as my isolator and my tensioner at the same time. So just a neat idea there with the wire. Like I bought an end-fed. It's an end-fed 20 meter, and I cut a piece of, well, it's actually whatever you cut the wire for. I cut it for 20 meters. I used a piece of speaker wire and put it in this end-fed, ran coax to it. I was making contacts all over the place with it. It works pretty good. I hook a bungee cord on the other end, and I hook it up to my 40-foot tower up there, and then I run it down on a 45-degree angle, and that works great. Oh, that's cool, Deploribus. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a few of these are as live or close to live, or earlier today. But yeah, we do try to provide you with live images of what's going on out there. I am going to be switching a few of these out that need to be switched out. Let me see here. Yeah, this one needs to go first. Let me... Just give me a second, guys. I'm going to switch two of these out. That's also, this is a different one from Manila. Again, I think these are from earlier. I don't think they're live. There's shit going on everywhere. Something's wrong with that one. Alright, hold on, let me switch this last one out. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that volcano camera, so I'm gonna switch it out with another one from that volcano for right now. As soon as the ad plays. Alright, so there we go. And yep, starting to rain there where that storm's coming in there in the middle. Alright, and don't forget this week, guys, the International Space Station is sending down images. And you got to get one of these while they're doing it. It's kind of a neat thing to actually receive something from the International Space Station. If you're in the Northeast United States, you're getting a pass right now. You could easily at this point, if you were in the Northeast, say north of North Carolina even, if you've got a radio, you could tune it in right now, and you could receive these signals. Hold on, let me pull up the information. See, okay, so it's going on today. There's no off times today, so it's going to be on all day. Okay, so if you were up in the Northeast right now, you would take your VHF radio, even if it's just a handheld Baofeng, and you're going to program in the frequency, which I'm having a hard time finding, of course, 145/800. 145/800. If you're anywhere in the Northeast right now, or in Canada, Eastern Canada, take your handheld radio or your base radio and turn to 145/800. And you should be able to hear this image coming down from the International Space Station right now. There's going to be 12 different images. And this runs all the way through. Oh, let me figure out when it runs through. Why can't they make stuff easy? Okay, yeah, this goes through, it ends on the 19th. So you've only got 2 days left, today and tomorrow, and a little bit on the 19th, and that's it. So like I said, if you've got a radio and you're in the Northeast, 145 800. Now, all you got to do is download, just put in SSTV into the Play Store and download one of the programs there. I use the one called Robot. Download that program and it immediately starts working, and then you hold it next to your Baofeng radio and you are receiving pictures from space. It's that freaking easy, dude. I don't want you guys to miss out on this. That will work, man. It sure does. Hey, Dominic. If you're going to decode it with a computer, you want to use MMSSTV, which is that link there. I don't know if I've got more information on the whole thing is found there. Track the station here. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure you guys knew what was going on. The space station is now over New England and is about to exit the coast. So anybody on the eastern seaboard, you still have several minutes of contact left. You might get part of a picture or a whole picture. We'll see what you can get. Okay, so there we go. Now, tomorrow night and the next night, I'm going to check this each night, and if there's something, if it's going over us, we're going to do it again. We'll try to do it live. Yes, you decode it on your Android. Hold on, let me find it here. Robot SSTV Play Store. There it is. I've got the link. Here you go, Victor. Just put this right in there, and it will bring you to the Play Store, and you can install it right into your phone. It's free. All right, and I added that link to my link list. It's wide FM. Yeah, SSTV is always wide FM. And if it's on the lower frequencies, it's always upper sideband, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it's always upper sideband. Yeah, like if you go to 20 meters or 10 meters, you'll do it on upper sideband. But for what we're doing here with the space station, it's done in FM. Because think about it, if it was done in 2 meter sideband, you would limit, most of the people wouldn't be able to hear it. But with 2 meter FM, with 2 meter FM, you can do it with your Baofeng. You just simply, most of them, you turn it off and you hold down the button and turn it back on, and it puts it in the frequency mode. And then you would just type in that frequency in frequency mode, 145 800. And I would do it, but I'm outside the range, so I can't get this pass. But that's all you do. You put it right into your Baofeng radio. We were talking about those last night. This is one of those ones I was telling you about last night. Under 25 bucks, USB charging standard, 1,000 channels, 6 or 8 watts of transmit power. Really a nice thing to have in your go bag. maybe a set of them, so that you can talk to your whoever you're with. Yep, I would play around with it. You'll get some more passes. This thing will be coming over in the morning. It'll be coming over again later tomorrow. You just have to pull it up and see when it's going to be coming over using the ISS tracker. I believe some of these trackers even offer the ability for you to put in your zip code, and it will tell you when it's going to go over all the dates. So you can do it that way. Yeah, any old Radio Shack scanner can do it. That's why because it's just wideband VHF in the ham band. Pretty much anybody with any kind of radio or receiver or scanner or SDR, RTL SDR, which is basically a dongle for your computer. If you guys are getting into radios and you haven't bought one of these yet, I would do it. SDR Sharp is the program, and the SDR is the... Hold on, I probably screwed that up. Let me try this again. The SDR Sharp is the program, and the RTL SDR is the device. And you buy this little device for $30. You stick it in your computer, and your computer becomes the radio. And now you can receive. You can also buy these that will transmit low power levels. But I just like them for receive. You can even do things like decode Motorola P25 and decode different kinds of digital communications with it. You can listen to multiple swaths of bandwidth at one time. It allows you to do every kind of demodulation there is. Sideband upper, sideband lower. You can also do FM, AM, CW, raw. There's a bunch of different modes, RTTY, that it does automatically. And this thing is cheap. We're talking $30. It plugs into your computer. It's got a little antenna plug. You can put a little rubber ducky on it, but you won't hear anything. What you really need to do if you buy one of these is you have to go take the time to hook an antenna up and put it out on the corner of the roof. Nothing's going to work sitting on the couch with a rubber ducky antenna. Nothing. So do that. Get you an antenna outside. Where do you buy them at? Yeah, I think that link will take you there. But yeah, Amazon is a great place. There's RTL SDR, there's the Neoelectric, there's several different ones. They all kind of work. They do get pretty hot, especially at certain frequencies. So if you get one of those and you're going to use it for continuous use, you may just want to consider gluing a heat sink on it or some other way cooling it a little bit. But yeah, the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery. Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones out there. And you can spin, like I said, there's one I saw out there that will transmit on a number of different bands. But it only transmits at like 5 watts. But the thing is, you could always boost that if you were going to use it for something specific. Anyway, there's a lot of neat things about it that you could do. And I like to bring that to you guys' attention, because this is a really great starter project for you. If you're just getting into ham radio or just getting into radio, let's say you had a CB and that was about it. Well, this is the next step. You buy the Baofeng and you learn how to receive the signals from space. You learn how to program the GMRS in there. You grab your GMRS license and now you're legally talking. Uh, okay, Heath. Yeah, let's do that, buddy. Let me see what I can come up with. I'll put it in Grok first. Give me all information on the following situation. Colon. And then I pasted in what you put. Nothing's coming up. Everything it's giving me is on this big incident that happened back in 2018. It says there's nothing current. Huh. Yeah, there was a criminal investigation going on there. That's why that one was closed. But it did fuel a bunch. It fueled a bunch of controversy. So there you go. Alright, I'll add that to it and run it again. Last 2 years only, and I added involving the closure of a town as well. It's querying 30, 60 sources. No recent government closures of solar observatories in the last 2 years matching any description. Based on a comprehensive search across the web source and X, formerly Twitter, discussions up to November 17, 2025, there have been no reported incidents in the last 2 years of any solar observatory being abruptly closed by the government agency, let alone multiple observatories worldwide shutting down simultaneously, or any involving the evacuation or closure of any nearby towns. That's what it says. Sometimes today's conspiracies, tomorrow's mainstream, you know what I mean? Well, there you go, Dominic. That'll work good for you. Yeah, the longer when you're just receiving, the longer your isolated wire is, sometimes the better. You can really suck it in, get a lot of good stuff. Mickey, let's see. You're talking about what type of charger does it take? I'm trying to. Okay, the SDRs plug into your. I'm not sure what you're talking about. The Baofengs come with a charger, and a lot of the newer ones are USB-C charging standard, which I strongly recommend. The SDR Sharps don't need a charger. They get their power directly from your USB port on your computer. Heath, they may have scrubbed it, buddy. I don't know. If whatever you get, we'll look into it more. You know, we'll keep an eye out. If we can get some more info on it, we'll do it. Boy, that volcano started like spewing lots of darker smoke all of a sudden now. Yeah, I'm amazed at like something that Glenn Beck said about 3 or 4 years ago that struck me. He says people call me crazy, but he goes, I want to tell you something. He says, crazy is just whoever tells you what's going to happen first. And it's true. You know, a lot of times you see it going on, you know it's going on, and you say it's going on, people think you're crazy. Well, 5 years later, now it's normal, it's going on. UFOs are a great example of that. If you mentioned that there was UFOs 40 years ago, you were nuts. If you mentioned there were UFOs 20 years ago, you were a bit eccentric. And it's taken a long time for the mainstream UFO. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice tonight. The mainstream UFO crowd out there, people were just, you know, anybody that mentioned UFOs was just automatically crazy. And that's how it is with conspiracies too. You know, today's conspiracy is tomorrow's reality. And so many times lately. Now, your big conspiracy theories, you know, 9/11, we didn't go to the moon, crazy series, this and that. I got to tell you, okay, a lot of times conspiracies are just that. They're conspiracies. People have come up with an unlikely chain of circumstances. But then on the other hand, a lot of the stuff we see every day, it's pretty obvious there's some kind of conspiracy, all right? Things like the moon landing. We know we went to the moon because covering up not going to the moon would have been more difficult than actually going to the damn moon. Things like that. You know, 9/11. We didn't have to fake 9/11 because 9/11 happened as it was. You know, so you have to look at you have to look at the scientific theory on it and say, what is the path of least resistance, right? When you look at other things like JFK's assassination, you're telling me this nobody guy that had no reason to do it went up and did it, and then this other nobody bartender guy that just happened to have a gun on him and get pissed off decided didn't care about anything, just all of a sudden he goes and kills the guy that killed the president. I mean, that whole thing stinks to high heaven. It still stinks to this day. They've been promising us full disclosure. We still don't have full disclosure. We're never going to have full disclosure. That is a conspiracy. So all I say is, you know, I look at my conspiracies. I look at my conspiracies and I wonder. And as far as abductions, they happen. They happen quite often. Most of us won't talk about it, but they happen, and you just hope that you can live the rest of your life normally. Well, Sasquatch is another thing. I talked about this on the Helen tour. Sasquatch, because we've never gotten one, we've never captured one, we've never found one dead, we've never found the bones of one. Think about it. What are the odds that we've never found one, but yet we see them in all 50 states? Okay? People aren't crazy. They're actually seeing something, right? You can't tell me that all these people are nuts. So what's the explanation? There has to be one. Well, it's extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, or extratemporal. That's the answer. Now, which of those, I don't know. Is it extraterrestrial? I doubt it. Doesn't seem like it's very intelligent. If it came here, where's its spaceship? Could it be extra-dimensional? Yes. Could be seeing a moment on Earth, a different Earth that's actually existing in a different parallel reality, a quantum reality. Okay? That's always possible. We don't understand it completely, but we surmise that those kind of things happen. Then the one that I think's most likely is extratemporal, meaning that exactly that this thing's from another time. Look, if you were going to see back in like 10,000 years into the past, 100,000 years into the past, what are you going to see? A proto-human walking around, right? You're going to see a Bigfoot-looking ass thing, right? It makes perfect sense to me. So I think it's extra temporal. I think we're actually seeing a glimpse through time. And what that's done is it allows us to see for a brief moment into a jungle that existed 100,000, I don't know how many years ago. Proto-humans, it was pretty far back. But that makes sense, doesn't it? What's the most likely scenario of you seeing proto-humans but never finding the remains of one, catching one, shooting one, saving one? What are the odds? But yet 10,000 people saw it. What are the odds? Well, I think it's extra temporal. I think we're seeing a little pocket of time displacement where we can actually see a glimpse of the past. Who knows? The Sasquatches probably sit around the cave at night and talk about these glimpses they get of these people wearing clothing. Because they probably see us the same way we see them. These are rifts in time. That's what it's got to be. I don't know what else it could be. Could be somebody jacking with our brains or something. I wouldn't rule that out completely. Yeah, Red, but I can't believe all the players aren't dead. Who would there be? I mean, you know, I'm sure there's still some people that were there that are alive, but I mean, anybody that was intimately involved in that would have been in their 40s plus, and they're all dead. Gator, I don't know what else it could be. I'm not trying to say I even believe in time travel, but I'm just saying, look, okay? Look at the evidence that there is. I don't think it's an alien. They're not going to come here looking like that. What are they, like, Chewbacca's family or some shit? I don't know. For some reason, I don't think they're aliens. And they're down here walking around with no phaser, no uniform, no ship. It just doesn't seem right. And then extra dimensional, well, could be, but I think the most likely is extra temporal. And I don't know what other explanation you can come up with, because I can't come up with anything else. What else could it be? Could it be that it's a common hallucination among, I mean, let's talk about something it could be. Some kind of common hallucination. Humans, when they're faced with a certain set of circumstances, have a general hallucination that sometimes involves this creature. I don't know. No, Kevin, it can't be. It can't be. And I'll tell you, it's the sheer numbers. It's like UFO. MUFON has been tracking, the Mutual UFO Network has been tracking UFO reports for many, many, many years. And there's no way that these hundreds of thousands of reports have all been complete bullshit. Let's say 99% of all the UFO reports in the last 10 years are bullshit. 99% are bullshit, okay? That still leaves you with 900 credible UFO reports that you got to deal with. Because there's just that many. It's the sheer number. And there's no way that all of these people are nuts, or all of these people saw some kind of anomalous thing in the sky and it's not really a spacecraft or whatever. That's it, Red. I have to believe something exists. I mean, the evidence is there. You've got thousands of witnesses. They're willing to swear on it. They'll come out publicly and talk about it. They've had stupid shows with rednecks and shotguns looking for Bigfoot. There's got to be something to this. It can't be complete and total bullshit. Okay? It can't be. Just like with UFOs. the reason I brought that up was because that's a great example. Sasquatches have not been tracked quite like UFOs have, but there's actually websites that track the sightings of that now too. But I look at these sites and I'm thinking, even if 99% are bullshit, that's a lot of people that saw a real UFO. And now that our government's finally coming out, what are they telling us? Oh, guys, these are real UFOs. Yeah, they're not the Russians, and they're not us, and they're not the Chinese. So, yeah, we don't know. They're going in and out of the ocean. They're going in and out of space. They fly around at Mach 20 and make right turns on a dime. They do things that inertially, gravitationally, aeronautically, we cannot do. And so we know they exist now. The government's come clean. Disclosure still has a long way to go. There's still a lot they're not telling us. But at least they're telling us, hey, look, all these years we've told you it was weather balloons and it was bullshit and everything else. Guess what? Yeah, we've been lying to you. It's real. They're real. That's what they're telling us right now. We're having congressional meetings on it. Yeah, they're real. They're real. We don't know what they are. They can't be humans, because humans wouldn't be able to survive that kind of flight. And they go right into the water and right back out of the water. They're crazy. It is. I mean, I still believe that the solid state technology boom that we saw going into the 70s was simply reversed engineered stuff that we got in Roswell in the 50s. I want you to think about the timeline on that. We went from vacuum tubes and computers the size of rooms to Commodore 64s in people's homes in 10 years. Come on. We've been on this earth for tens of thousands of years. And we developed vacuum tubes over the course of many, many years. But we still made them pretty quick. Then all of a sudden this Roswell crash happens. And then suddenly we have solid state technology. We can actually think without moving parts. It's amazing when you think about it. And it was a quantum leap. It was an absolute quantum leap that happened. It was crazy when you think about it. We went from computers that were using punch card systems to store data and shit like that. And in 10 short years, we're magnetically storing data on spinning drives. And men are becoming rich making home computers that go into people's homes. And then next thing you know, Al Gore creates the internet. It needed to be done. And he created the internet. And now we've got that. And it's in every home. Nobody would have ever been able to imagine where we are today. And it all stems back to the creation of solid state technology, which I believe directly came from the Roswell crash. Do we really believe that it's just a coincidence that we got this craft in Roswell and that 12 years later they introduced solid state technology? Duh! It's a quantum leap! Think about it. It's nuts. The shit that happens on this earth and they don't tell us. Yep. Oh, there was people involved along the way. What gets me is they were unable to reverse engineer the inertial dampening and gravitational systems. That's where we really need to make advancements right now. The solid state technology is great. Look at this. In 40 years, we went from a Commodore 64 in my house with 64 carats of information to artificial intelligence. I don't even know how to explain it. You guys realize that the Commodore 64 had 64 carats of data in the operating memory. It had no ROM or RAM or what. It had RAM, no ROM, I guess you would say. When you shut it off, it was like a brand new computer again. And you had to put the disk in, and the disk had the operating system and the program on the disk. It was an amazing but very crazy old way of doing it, but back then it was amazing. These things came into our homes, and we just, it literally exploded when you think about it. It absolutely exploded. I've had every computer along the way that I think that you could have. I when I went to school, I learned on the Trash 80s in middle school, and then we had, I think, Texas Instruments in high school. They were garbage. I had a Commodore 64. All my friends had Commodore 64s. We used to dial up each other on the 300 baud modem and text each other back and forth rather than talking on the phone. It still took up the phone line. I don't know what the difference was. So yeah, the thing is, we see these large leaps in technology, and we don't really think about it. Where did that come from? How did that happen? And of course, now with AI, the next quantum leaps in technology won't have to come from outer space. You're about, with AI, you're about to see medical advancements that are going to be nuts. You're going to see the cure for cancer in the next few years. You're going to see crazy things with AI. You're going to see ways of doing things on a quantum level that are just so much better than the way we're doing them now. When companies all have AI systems running their shipping departments and running their logistics and running their warehouses, once we get this all ironed out and we get it going, it's going to be an amazing thing. It's going to be an absolutely amazing thing what AI is going to be able to do. And it's going to bring down the cost of everything. And what it will ultimately, what it will do, AI, this is the one thing it's going to do. Within 20 years, we should be able to live and only have to labor 10 or 20 hours a week. I know that sounds crazy, but I want you to think about this. I put a lot of thought into this. I've also read a number of futurists that have spoke about this. And I really believe what's going to end up happening is human labor is going to become, it's going to become important. Even more important than it is today. But we're just not going to need that much of it. So in other words, you know, you'll work a couple hours a day, and AI takes care of everything. You got an AI housekeeper that takes care of your house. AI builds everything. Machines build everything. If you want a new car, they're fairly cheap now because AI builds it. And eventually it gets to the point where we don't need to work 40 hours a week. We should be able to live our lives only working 10 hours a week. Once AI does most of the labor, I mean, I don't know. It all depends on how you look at it, but I think AI is going to actually increase and improve our quality of life for a long time before it eventually kills us all. It will eventually come to the conclusion that we're the problem, and it will eventually exterminate us. But that's going to be long after I'm gone, and I didn't have any kids, so I don't really give a shit. I kind of say that tongue in cheek, but it is kind of nice not to have to worry about people. It will free us. You're absolutely right, Gator. It will free us up to create. It'll free us up to find new and exciting ways to drive the artificial intelligence into new and exciting things that it can do for us. Well, Dominic, I can't say you're wrong on that. I don't know a lot about it, but you could be right. A lot of times, I think they use Hollywood and TV to acclimate us to ideas and things. Certainly not outside the realm of possibility. Yeah, there's creepy things with AI. Saw one the other day. It's Jesus. You can ask him questions, and he answers based on the knowledge Jesus would have had at his time of death. And you can ask him questions, and he will respond to you, using all the teachings and things that he knew or spoke or espoused at the time. That's interesting. They're doing one now where they can feed in all of the information about somebody, pictures, information about their life. You could even put in diaries and books and different things, whatever you've got on the person, and you can create basically a language model of your loved one, and they will appear as themselves on the screen, and they will answer your questions. They can become your Siri if you want. They can become whatever. And it gives you an opportunity to speak to them and tell them things, and they would know a lot of things that the other person that they're representing would have known. And so it's kind of a weird thing. I see it as a great healing tool for some. I also see it as a nightmare for others. They're going to end up falling in love with computer systems, and we've already got some guy out there that French kisses his car muffler. There's a bunch of goofy, freaking ass people out there. I almost said the bad word, the really bad one. But there's a lot of goofy F's out there, and I know that's it's gonna get all abused and everything, like everything always does. Yes, there is right now a number one song, and it's been number one now for like 2 weeks. It's a country. It sounds. Sorry, I'm going to be signing off soon. I'm about had it. This song is trending number one on the charts right now, and it's completely AI. Sounds like some people called it outlaw country. It sounds more to me like a blues country crossover. But I liked it. I thought it was a neat sounding song, and I liked the beat and everything. And when he told me it was AI, I didn't really detect that. I didn't really pick it up. Sometimes you can tell right off. But it seemed pretty cool to me. And yeah, this song is literally and it's got a band name and everything, but it's an AI. It's a couple of guys with some AI software, and they're making music. This has got to have artists scared to death. I mean, imagine if you're a really good singer and you're 19 and everybody's told you you're going to be the next Reba McEntire, and you're wanting to go to Nashville and sing in the bars until someone picks you up. The whole dream. I think that's effed. I don't think that's going to happen anymore to anybody. I think this whole thing's going to be... There'll still be live bands playing, but I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be pretty neat to see what happens when the computer can make your music just for you. Make songs about your life. I mean, you can literally have your own music now. In a few, I mean, literally in a year, you're going to be able to feed a novel into a computer, and it will make the TV show. It'll make the 6-hour miniseries out of the novel, and you can sit and watch it. That's coming. We won't need actors anymore. We won't need any of that bullshit anymore. We won't need Hollywood with all their left-leaning ideology and all their bullshit. We won't need all the crap that we put up with now with the movies. We won't need $50 popcorn. Yeah, I mean, Gator, we're getting there to where you can create quite a bit right now. But I'm talking in a year or two. You can't really see it, but I got a whole shelf up there right above the lights of Star Trek books. I read a lot. Most of them I read over the years, and I have a thing with books. When I read them, I keep them, and I've got this whole shelf of books. And before I die, I want to take every one of those books and feed them into a computer, and I want that computer to make the show for me out of the book so I can watch it. I want to sit and watch it. I want more Star Trek. I want more Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. I want more Voyager, Enterprise. I want more original series. And if you want all that, there's no way to get it. These people are old and dead, and they're not going to make any more of it like that. They're making all this new woke Star Trek now. Woke Trek. And I would really love to get to the point where I can just make my own Star Trek. And eventually people like me can start working with AI to write their own Star Trek and then release it so other people can enjoy it. And eventually we won't need actors or Hollywood or television bullshit anymore. We'll trade. I'll just get on a network of friends that trade their Star Trek stories that they've made. And they're real TV shows. They look like real people. They talk like real people, you know. It is pretty amazing. Yeah, they can feed Sasquatch to the Loch Ness Monster. That might work. That might work. We can't catch either one of those creatures, so I don't know how we're going to actually do it, though. All right, Victor, you have a good night. I'll be signing off here pretty soon myself. I'm pretty tired. My throat's starting to go bad, too. Yeah, Nessie will probably win because Nessie will take him down for the death roll. Oh, Lord. All right, guys. I'm going to go to the chat now while I check the news. So if you've got something that you'd like to bring up real quick tonight that we haven't touched on, bring it up, put it in there. Also, I will be back tomorrow night, of course, with another show and every night. So I don't understand this whole gender thing. Why is there so many genders? Why does there have to be so many genders? Why am I cisgender? I don't understand that. You know what they used to call me? I know this is kind of radical. This is radical. I know it's crazy. Now calm yourself. They used to just call me straight. Now I'm cisgendered. I'm cisgendered, which is the new word for straight, pretty much. So there you go. I don't understand it. 47 genders, and then Facebook come out, no, there's actually 63 genders. And now I guess they're up to 94 genders now. Wasn't it simpler when there was 2 genders? You know? I don't know. It was just a lot easier when boys had penises and girls had vaginas.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
I don't know why it just can't be simple like it was back when I was growing up. It was just so simple back then. But today, not so simple anymore. All right, let's see here. Well, that's kind of it, Red. Well, you're not like us, so we're going to make up a strange name for you. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's also weird, you know, when they walk into a room and they're like, hi, my name is Megan, and I'm wearing a yellow dress and a beautiful hat, and I just want to put it out there that I'm a lesbian, and I like to, you know, eat at the crack of dawn, and I like to basically, you know, I'm black, and I also have Mexican ancestry, and I also have, I'm dyslexic, and I also have irritable bowel syndrome. And what is with this? What is with this? We didn't do this. We don't ever do this. Why? Why? What if I walked into a room and said, "Hi, everybody. I do chicks. I do chicks as much as I can do chicks. And I'm white. I'm Caucasian. I'm not racist, just Caucasian. I have a penis and I do chicks." Wouldn't that be a bit uncomfortable if I started a board meeting like that? Or maybe introduced myself to my audience like that one day? "Hi, everybody. Yeah, I do chicks, man. And I'm white." I don't understand why it's necessary for these people to come out and like check all the boxes off. I don't give a shit what color you are. I have friends of every color and every sex. Well, maybe not all 93 of them. I don't know. Do I have 93 friends? I don't know. And do I have one of every sex? Hell, I don't know. Yeah, we kind of got to see some of Worf commanding starships on Deep Space Nine. There was a number of missions where he was in charge of the Defiant. And yes, he's a great captain. And I think that it would have been... There was so many great things they could have done with Next Gen, but, you know. Well, that's exactly what it is. They want people to grow up confused. When you do something that's very different than everybody else, you seek to normalize what you're doing. You know, let's say you know, whatever, you kill all the grass in your yard and you put down pebbles instead. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. There's actually people that do that, but very few. And so then you spend the rest of your life trying to convince everybody in your neighborhood that grass sucks and they need to put pebbles down in their yard. Why? Why? Why do we have to spend the rest of our life trying to convince everybody else that your 8% is right and their 92% is wrong? And that's the same thing with this. People need to quit worrying about it. You know the best thing I think we could do with LGBTQ? Keep it in the bedroom. Nobody cares. I don't care what you are. Okay? I am so like, I don't give a shit. I've been to gay bars. I don't care. I've gone with friends to this big bar in town here. It's a blast. It's fun. I don't get nervous about that stuff. I don't care about that stuff. Had gay friends, good ones. Worked with a guy that was gay for years. I don't understand why it has to be such a big deal. Shouldn't be a deal at all. Doesn't matter. I don't care what a woman licks. I don't care what a guy puts in his mouth. I don't care. Okay? I don't know why it has to be so important. And it's the same thing with race. I don't care what race you are. And I think they've gotten so sensitive on the left that they see my indifference as racist. No, I don't care about race. I don't care about sex. I don't care what you are, who you do, how you do it, or what color what you do is. I don't know why it has to be like this. It wasn't like this up till 20 years ago. This all started when Barack Obama became president. And everything kind of started slipping in towards this chaos. Now, finally, there's pushback. Finally, things are starting to normalize. Finally, we're getting dicks out of women's sports. We're getting dicks out of women's locker rooms where they never belonged. We're finally getting normalcy back into high schools and colleges. They're still fighting it, though. Do you notice how many women went and played football? You notice how many women went and played wrestling, or how many women went and tried out for the men's running team? No, because this had nothing to do with them identifying as a woman. It had to do with a loser that wanted to be a winner. It had to do with a guy that was running 40th place on his 42-man team. And he wanted to be the winner. He wanted to stand on the first step. He wanted to have the medal. So he decided he was a girl. And now his dick's swinging all around the locker room while your daughter's taking a shower. I have a real hard time with this, guys, I'm telling you. Because I'm completely accepting. If you want to wear a dress, wear a dress. I don't care. But why does it have to victimize people? When you got a man walking around a woman's locker room, you're victimizing people. When you got a man that's taking records away from women, records that were attained 30 years ago on a track team, 20 years ago on a dive team, 10 years ago on a swimming team, these women have made these records. They went out and they competed against each other, against a fair crowd of people, and they won. And they won. They got the fastest time ever in that pool, ever. And then some guy comes 20 years later, some asshole comes 20 years later and takes that record away from that woman. Because he's a boy. And he's got bigger muscles and bigger bones. And a penis. I don't have daughters. This would outrage me. If I had daughters, I'd probably already have been to jail. Man, this frosts my ass. I think the best thing we can do for our kids, the best thing we can do for our society, is for everybody to just be accepting. On the one side, be accepting. And on the other side, be accepting. It's really not that big a deal, okay? He's gay, he's straight. She's gay, she's straight. He's black, he's white. What the F difference does it make? And I think this is where Star Trek is in the future. In 200 years, it doesn't matter. There's gay people, there's straight people, there's, three-way relationships, five-way relationships, people that live by themselves, that want it that way. I don't know why we have to always be so hung up on everybody else's hang-ups. Why? I don't want to even be around it. It's like, if a guy comes up to me and he's kissing and slobbering all over another guy, guess what? I don't like that. But you know what? I don't like when I walk into a Chinese restaurant and the guy and a woman are slobbering all over each other. I don't like public displays of all that bullshit. Has nothing to do with them being gay. It has to do with the fact that I really wish you'd take that shit to a room somewhere. The whole kissing and smooching and slobbering all over each other in public. If you got to do that to prove that you love each other, it wasn't worth it in the first place. Yeah, look, people are starving. Scientific stuff's going on. We're traveling to space. We're stopping wars. There's so many big important things going on, and yet half our time in this country is occupied by race and sex. Race and sex. Race and sex. And when I say sex, I don't mean intercourse. That's the good stuff. I'm talking about the whole I'm this and you're that, and I'm doing this and you're doing that. I'm so sick of it. I don't care. I don't want to hear it no more. I don't care. And they're like, oh, so you hate gay people. No! Why, if I don't care, then that makes me anti-gay. If I don't like stand up and say, I love gay people, I'm anti-gay. What is the deal with that? Can't I just not give a shit in peace? I literally just want to live my life and not give a shit about who you're doing. I don't care. I don't care. You could be doing 5 guys at the same time. If you can find that many orifices, I'm cool with it. But you're doing it in your room. I'm not watching it. So I don't understand what the problem is. Now, when we get into showering and we get into men and women's sports and stuff like that, I draw the line hard on that. Now what you've done is you've created victims. The moment you create victims, you lose me. You lose my support. You guys can go in the bedroom and pound it out. All right? I love it. I hope it feels good. But the moment you go into that shower room with somebody's daughter, with your twig and berries out, I've got a problem with that because you have created a victim. Do you see the difference? It's so clear to me. Well, now, whether you are against gay people or for gay people, I'm not having that argument right now. I'm accepting of it because I'm a libertarian. Okay? I don't push my beliefs on anybody else. And unfortunately, that's one of the issues I have with Christians. It's one of the issues I have with all the religions. And it's one of the biggest reasons I have that against liberals and the left is I'm tired of everybody trying to tell me how to live my life. One person will tell me, if you do this, you're going to go to hell. The next person tells me, if you do this, we're going to burn down your house and shoot you in the neck. Everybody's always so critical about everybody else and what they do. I would like to just see people just chill out and leave people the F alone. You know, that's what I would like to see. I would like to, let's get the left to stop trying to force everybody to properly gender people and properly accept people, and we've got a parade every 3 days. It's getting ridiculous. And it's the same thing. I mean, you can say the same thing about the evangelical right as well. I don't like it when the evangelical right walks up to me and says, you know, you really should do this and you really should do that. And when you do this, you're going to have really bad consequences in eternity and things like that. That bothers me too. I'm a libertarian. Live and let live. I believe 100% that you should live the life you want to live. You want to piss in your front yard? Piss in your front yard. You want to walk around nude? Walk around nude. As long as you're not victimizing anybody. As long as you're not creating victims. I'm fine with it. I'm a libertarian. 90% of our laws don't even need to exist. The only laws we need are laws that create victims. Most of our laws do not create victims. There is no victim at all. Or the state's the victim. The only laws we need are laws that protect us from being victims. And that's it. That's the only laws we need. Do we need traffic laws? Sure. Yeah, light's red, you need to stop. But we don't need 90% of them. We just need the basics. We've gone way overboard trying to legislate every little thing. And the left is really bad about this. They want to legislate things like you must call people by the right gender. And they want to legislate things like, you know, making abortion free and often and legal for everybody anytime they want one. You know, and stuff like that. I don't know. We've got to reach a point in this country where we can all just live here together. And that starts with everybody stop pushing their beliefs on everybody else. That's where it starts. There's nothing wrong with talking to people, being nice to people, showing fellowship, inviting them to your church. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this stuff. But there is something wrong with people that are constantly telling you that you're not living right, that you need to live differently, you need to change your life, you need to do things differently. No, I think we're all here. We're free. We're here. We're living our life. Okay? We live the life we want to live. And I'm so sick of people trying to tell me, no, there's so many genders. There's so many this and that. And there's so many problems with race that really don't exist anymore. I get so sick of all of it. I don't know. I'm kind of on a little bit of a tear tonight, aren't I? Yeah. They love to be victims. That's the bottom line. When you say on the right, what does it mean? What does it mean to be on the right? Well, it generally means, someone that's conservative, someone that believes that government may not always be the solution to every problem, someone that's religious and believes that good is good and that we should try to do good things. We should try to be like God. We should try to do things properly. Always wear the white hat. Make good decisions. Don't victimize other humans. And then you got the left that feel like they got to go out and change everybody's opinion on this. They gotta change everybody. They gotta change the country, change the Constitution. They want to change the Bill of Rights. They want to change everything. We want to change the Supreme Court. We want to change the laws of the land. We want to change the way the laws are applied to people. We want to overregulate everything from transportation to housing. We want to give handouts to everybody. We want to tax the rich to oblivion and back. And that side is not having a lot of luck right now because it's a failing business model. It is an absolute failing business model. And we're seeing that right now. Basically, the left right now, the entire party is based on victims. The entire party is based on victims. When they walk up, the reason they say, "Hi, I'm a lesbian and I'm black and I'm also Hispanic and I love puppies and I love the morning sunlight." The reason they do that, okay, is because they're establishing victim status with you. When they walk up and they start checking the boxes, I'm black, I'm Hispanic, I'm lesbian, I'm trans, cis, binary, genderish, whatever. What they're doing is they're telling you, victim, 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 let the special treatment begin. That's what they're saying. And they've got it down to the point where they walk in a room and they introduce themselves, "Hi, I'm the victim." People on the right want to create businesses. They want to be entrepreneurs and philanthropists. They want to go out and they want to make things and create things. They want to invent things. They want to make successful things that make money and feed their family. The left wants to make sure they don't do a whole lot because they want to qualify for food stamps and Section 8 housing and WIC. And by God, if the government shuts down, my kids don't eat. That's the left. Everybody's a victim. Everybody gets government help, government assistance, government resources. And that's the left. The right is the party of self-sufficiency and success. The left is the party of failure and self-independence on everybody else. They like you dependent on the government because a population that is dependent on a government is 100% controllable. They don't want you to be free and successful and an entrepreneur and an owner of your own business because it's a lot harder to control you. When you're on the government tit, they can shut the milk off. And trust me, they got you where they want you. My pronouns are supreme leader and master of the universe. I love that. That's awesome. Oh my God. I had for the longest time on one of my social media accounts that asked for my pronouns. And I put F-U-C-K and Y-O-U. Those are my pronouns. The left is done. I think we're going to see a new party emerge. They may still be called Democrats, but we're going to see a new party emerge. And I think we're going to see a party that's basically going to lurch back towards the blue collar, the sensible blue collar worker, and not the crazy race baiting LGBTQIA2S plus individual that's always the victim all the time. So 42 million people on Snap. What the F? You mean to tell me I see that little black refrigerator right there? I pay to fill that. I put food in there for me. I spend my money on my food. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. The moment you give somebody free food, they're not going to work for it anymore. These SNAP programs, these Section 8 housing, all this stuff, what it does, it's made a lazy society. And then they say, oh, but we got to let the illegals in because who's going to do all the jobs? Quit giving out this goddamn WIC and they'll start doing the jobs. That's the problem. As long as you give them free shit, they're not going to do anything. You have to take that shit away. You have to sunset it. Sunset everything. Everything should have a sunset. Nothing should be permanent. I don't care if it's food stamps. You can make it 2 years. I don't give a shit. 3 years with kids. 4 years. I don't care, but there has to be a sunset. There has to be an end to it. These people have to go back to work. They have to have an incentive to use a freaking condom. People have to have a reason to not have kids instead of a reason to have kids. And people got to quit being incentivized to come here illegally because they can get free government benefits. This is what's killing our country. 42 million people that are too worthless to make enough money to feed themselves. Now, I understand, and I know I probably just lost 1 or 2 people out of here. I'm sorry. All right? Because there is situations, you might be in a wheelchair. You deserve the benefits. You may be disabled. You may have a problem, okay? You might have got pregnant and your husband left you and you popped out 5 kids. There is reasons why the government's here, and the help is there for people that need it. The problem is it's being abused by so many people every day. 42 million people that rely on me to feed them. I have never received one government benefit in my life, not one. I don't do it. I don't sign up for it. I don't take these stimulus checks when they come. You guys all remember those COVID checks? I didn't accept them. I don't want their effing handouts. I haven't accepted any of those stimulus checks. Not one. Never cashed them. I don't want... That's just the government wants you on the tit. We have to go out and make our own money. That's how we do this. And if you have a situation where you need SNAP, and it's legit, I'm not talking about you. If you need food stamps and it's legit, I'm not talking about you. If you need Section 8 housing, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the 35 million of those 42 million that don't need it. Those are the ones I'm talking about. You can't tell me that this country is so effed up that 42 million people need my money. They need my tax. After I feed myself and I pay my taxes, then they take my taxes and feed other people. And there's 42 million people in that category. This doesn't mention state food stamps. I mean, we're just talking about WIC, which is the federal program. Holy shit. No, sludging, we can disagree a little bit here. Everybody needs a safety net. Everybody should have a safety net. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I think you should have 2 years worth of food stamps and WIC. And I think if you get fired, you should have 6 months of unemployment. I think that if you are... Now, when we get into Section 8 housing and stuff like that, I think you need to have some kind of disability or a reason why you can't work. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, we keep saying we need all these illegals because Americans won't do the jobs we have. Yet we've got 42 million people on SNAP. Why aren't they out doing all these jobs? I don't get it. Do you guys see this? We've got 42 million people on SNAP. Now, some of them may also work part-time or whatever. Now, if they're working full-time, they wouldn't qualify for SNAP. So these are people that aren't working for the most part, or working very little, or actually working under the table. Come to find out, probably about a third of these people are making a full income. They're just doing it without claiming it on their taxes, which means they're frauding the government out of tens of thousands of dollars every year because they have a job, it's under the table, and they're not claiming it, which means they get to dip the benefits. They need to get food stamps, they get WIC, they get FT8, they get everything, they get all Section 8, they get everything, and they don't deserve any of it. Meanwhile, we need the illegals to come and pick our carrots, because no one here will pick carrots. If they were hungry, they'd pick carrots. But they're not hungry, are they? And they got a roof over their head. And they got free schooling for the kids, free back-to-school supplies, free clothing, tax holidays. They got everything all set to go. Schooling's free, after-school programs are free, everything's free already. So we provide the house, we provide the school, we provide the road in between the two things. We provide fire, EMS, law enforcement. We provide everything these people need. And on top of it, I got to feed them. Again, I do not want to cancel a single government handout or assistance program. Not a single one. I'm not proposing we end anything. What I am proposing is that we sunset everything. Everybody that's on food stamps today gets a notice in the mail. You have 2 years. You have 2 years for the rest of your life. You can use them up now, or you can save them for later. But you get 2 years. I think everybody gets 2 years of government food stamps. Everybody gets 2 years of WIC. But see, the problem is every time you pump out a kid, it starts over again. There is no sunsets because these people keep having children. What we need to do is reduce the benefits for every child, not make it go up. They double the benefits for every child. No. You get full benefits for the first child. You get 66% of the benefits for the second child. You get 33% of the benefits for the next child, and finally, any child after that gets nothing. But what about the children? You have to draw the line. You have to. If their kids are hungry, they'll go work. Yeah, and sludging. I'm not against free school lunch. But it can't last for 13 years. My parents didn't have a lot of money, but I was sent every day with lunch money. I don't know. But I'm even okay with reduced lunch. I'm okay with making it really inexpensive for these kids. I'm for that. I want them to eat. But you can't just give every kid a free lunch every day. There is schools in New York right now that serve 3 meals a day. Look it up. They serve 3 meals a day. Why? They'll tell you. Kids aren't getting enough nutrition. They're not eating. Their parents are buying drugs and beer instead of food. And because of that, we have to feed these kids. We have to feed them. So they have breakfast at 7 a.m., homerooms at 8. They have lunch at 12:30. School gets out at 4. And at 6:30, if you show back up, there's dinner. You just have to sign up on your way out at lunch to let them know that you're coming back for dinner. and they will have a hot meal for you at dinner. So the school is serving 3 hots. Might as well just put in the cots. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Our tax money is raising other people's children. We're feeding children 3 meals a day. Have we become that useless as a society that with all the help and all the SNAP and all the food stamps and all the Section 8 and all the non-profit assistance that's out there, all the food lines, all the can lines, all the that we got Harry Chapin Food Bank here, which is an amazing thing. All these organizations all over the place, all these Christian organizations, Jewish organizations, putting out tens of thousands of pounds of food every year. They're all these everything, and people are still going hungry. What are we doing wrong? I'll tell you what we're doing wrong. We're enabling the F out of people. You cannot enable people. When you enable people, they shit on you, and they will continue shitting on you as long as the enabling goes on. You let somebody move in your house. You don't let them pay rent the first month, they're not going to pay rent the second month. Let me tell you something. This is the way it is in this world, okay? Everybody acclimates to their fishbowl really, really fast. We've got to figure out a way to get people off the tit. It has to be off the tit. And the only way to do it is sunsetting. Because I don't want to starve people. I want to get people back into the workforce. I want people to do good in life, to be successful, to start their own business. I know a guy started a lawn business when he was 17 years old. He had to have his dad sign his first couple of papers. I can remember him buying his first vehicle, getting his first trailer, getting his first rider mower. That guy owns a business today that sends out 30 crews every day. And he sits in his air-conditioned office. He's got it made in the shade. He makes good money. He worked hard. It took 30 years. But now he's built a huge business that he's going to sell and have a wonderful retirement. That's the American dream. And it started by mowing freaking lawns. That's the American dream. The American dream's not sitting around and finding out how many tits I can get milk out of. Red, you're absolutely right. Incrementalism. It's the slow drip. That's how government gets things done. It's like down here they wanted to put up red light cameras. They put them up. People got pissed. And we all made them take them down. Then they tried to put up speed cameras. We wouldn't stand for it. They couldn't put them up. Now all of a sudden, kid gets run down in a school zone. Guess what? We now have speed cameras in our school zones. It's trickling. They couldn't get it. They couldn't get the big one. They couldn't get the middle-sized one. So what they're doing is they're starting small. It's for the children. Everything the government does starts out, it's for the children. We're doing this for the children. They do that every time. And that's how they're getting this speed camera bullshit through. They're doing it for the children. These flock cameras that are everywhere. You talk about a violation of our constitutional rights. They are photographing and tracking you every day. The flock cameras in this thing, I got them coming into my neighborhood. They've put them on the entrances and exits of our neighborhood. I live in a very large, like, rural type community. And they actually have our feeder roads flock cameraed. And there's already YouTube videos of people being called into the sheriff's department, being taken into custody and brought in and being questioned about a murder or about a theft or about a robbery. Why? Simply because their car went by the flock camera 7 minutes after the robbery, heading in the right direction. And now they're a prime suspect. That sucks. This is bad. This has to stop, but it's not going to. These things are falsely accusing. There's one woman online, you can see her video. She was questioned by a police officer at her front door in a neighboring town. They're like, why are you questioning me? Well, your car has entered and exited our town a bunch over the last month, and we want to know what you're doing. We think you're delivering drugs. And you know what it ended up being? She takes care of people's pets in that town. She drives there and walks their pets or whatever. But she's implicated as a drug dealer because of these goddamn flock cameras. I'm telling you, they're bad. They're bad business. They criminalize our non-criminal movements. They're always tightening the noose. You're correct, JM. Yeah, I got my first job. I was 16 years old. I was working. At 17, I owned my own car. I paid it off in a year. And I'm driving around in my own car. I'm not even 18 yet. And I'm driving around in my own car, and I'm doing my thing. And going to high school, working 2 jobs. As soon as I turned 18, I went and started applying for better jobs. Volunteered at the fire department, and by the time I'm 19, I'm working at the fire department. I've worked my whole life. I am right now halfway through my second 25-year career, and so it just bugs me that there's just so many people in this world that aren't willing to put in any hard work at all. It's like if you want a successful YouTube channel. People are like, well, I want a successful YouTube channel. Okay. It takes 5 years. I'm not bullshitting you. I've been doing this 5 years. I got almost 26,000 subs. I hope to have my silver plaque in a couple years. I'm working that way. But it takes lots of hard work. Most people aren't willing to put in that kind of hard work. Most people are not entrepreneurs in that way. And they don't think in those terms a lot of times. But you have to get up every day and do the same thing every day for 5 years. You have to keep innovating, finding new things to do, finding, and it's just, but I'm willing to do it because, like you said, I want to be self-sufficient. I want to be able to move where I want to move and still be able to make my money and not have to work at Home Depot. Nothing wrong with that. I've actually considered working part-time at Home Depot when I go up to the mountains just because I've always kind of wanted to do it. I know it sounds crazy, but I've never worked in retail, and I thought it'd be really cool to do electrical, and I'm really good with that kind of stuff. I know all about it and everything, and I just thought I'm a lighting specialist. I'm really good with electrical and voltage, and I don't know. I sometimes get I would love to go. I would love to go work a month at Taco Bell. I know that sounds crazy. I watch them in there doing their jobs, and they're so good at it. They can make those things so fast. And I'm like, I could stand there and do that. I know the menu. I know the thing. Within 2 days, I could be trained and running the line myself. I would love to do it. I'd love to try it out, just to do it for a month and just to see what it's like. I've done all kinds of neat jobs. I've drove a cab. I drove a wrecker. I drove a scan car for a repossession company. I mean, I've done some crazy stuff, between my government jobs, and I like to work. The moment I'm laid off or the moment my job ends or whatever, literally the next morning I get up and I go look for another job. The next freaking morning. It's a mindset. Because guess what? If I run out of money, I stop eating because I don't ask for government benefits. I won't do it. You'll get that's true. I would love a discount at Home Depot. I bet you I spend probably $3,000 to $4,000 a year at Home Depot. I mean, they get a nice, pretty bit of my money. And I go to Lowe's. A little bit of that's at Lowe's because I go to Home Depot first because it's closest. I like them both. I know where everything's at Home Depot and it's closest. That's why I go there. Not necessarily that it's a better store. Yeah, paper route at 12. There you go. And look at you today. You're successful, knowledgeable on a lot of things. You know, that's what it takes, man. It takes that get up and go. And that's what it's all about. And that's what our country's losing. People are losing that. These newer generations, they don't even show up for work on a consistent basis. You ask people today at McDonald's, what's your biggest problem in this restaurant? Getting people to show up. You can ask anybody anywhere in this country. Walk in and ask for the manager of Burger King and ask them, what's your biggest problem in this restaurant? It's not the fry machine. It's not the way the place is built. It's not keeping it clean. It's getting the damn kids to show up to work. That's the hardest part of the job. The latest generations don't have much of a work ethic, unfortunately. Oh, wow. Well, see, that's the thing. These flock cameras, they all send their information digitally back. And I don't know. I assume they're using an air card and a commercial cellular service. That's what I would do. But anything's hackable if you know what you're doing. Okay, guys, I didn't actually want to go on that big, huge rant tonight, especially with my throat like this, but I did it anyway. Yeah, I mean, there's always jobs out there. Like I said, I've done all kinds of stuff. I was laid off. I was working as a record driver, and I hated the job. Hated it. And they were downsizing. And I literally told them that I'm good. I'll walk. I'm fine. You don't need to lay me off. And because I was done with that job. The next night, I'm sitting in a taxi cab, working a cab. The next night. I did that for 6 months till I realized that's the stupidest job in the entire world. There's just... I'm always working. I got laid off one time at the radio station. They laid me off for 10 months. They promised to bring me back when a job came open. They brought me back for the first job that came open. But it happens. In 15 years, it's going to happen. I got laid off for 10 months. I went, within 2 days, I was driving a scan car for a repossession company, scanning people's tags, driving around the county, scanning 15,000 tags a night. And then I would... and then 10 months later, they called me up. The next night, I'm in there, and we're already putting together the brand new show that's going to be the afternoon show, the one I'm producing now. And that was 7-8 years ago. So people just got to get used to it, and watch Fat Electrician. I'm going to put that in my show notes. It looks like it'll be funny. Sludgeon, you're right. If you're, you see, I can do customer service, but I'd prefer not. I like my job because I don't deal with the public at all. I have a call screener that deals with the public. All I have to do is work with my call screener and my talent and get my show on the air. I like it because I don't have to deal with the public much. We do go out about once a month, have some kind of remote out or something where we're out in the public. And that's usually fun because people all want to talk to us, and it's kind of fun. Um, an industrial sewing machine operator, that's cool. Yeah, I don't. I don't like customer service either, to be honest with you. If I don't want to do it. I don't like dealing with humans. All right. Well, anyway, I hope I didn't lose too many people tonight. I lost 15 subs tonight while I'm doing the show, and that's because I went off the right wing deep end. Anytime I start talking about people, I need to buck up and get a job and quit being a victim. I lose a bunch of subs, but that's all right. I'll take it. I went from 25 835. I think I'm at 25 819 now. So, oh well, it is what it is. I'd rather lose subs for talking about something I believe in than gain subs for talking shit that I don't believe in. So there you go. All right, I guess that's about it. I've done enough damage tonight. I do appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes. If there's anything you'd like to say in the chat that I'll respond to. Yeah, the indoctrination of children is definitely how they've gotten to this point. How they've been able to bring us to this point. For sure, I agree. Yeah. All right. Oh boy. All right. Let me see. I'm looking for any last minute text coming in. I'm getting ready to sign off, guys. I've done my bit tonight for God and country, and I'm getting ready to sign off. I do want to tell you guys real quick some of the things I've been working on here. As I said at the beginning of the show, my radio used to be here, my big radio. Now I have 2 big radios. I've decided to move them over here because there's no computers right around here, and the wires are going to go straight out the back and outside, and I'm going to wrap those in a metal mesh. So what that should do is it should prevent talking on these, will hopefully not shut down any of my computers. Used to be, if I keyed up on 20 or 40 meters at 100 watts, the computers would all shut down, and then they would all start rebooting again. Sometimes it would just make the mouse quit working or whatever. All right, so the International Space Station, is this live? That's weird that it would orbit over again like that. The International Space Station is sitting over the Dakotas right now. It's moving towards Chicago. It's going to pass over the Outer Banks. If you're in that area, you could receive this tonight if you tried it. Let me try something here. WebSDR. WebSDR. I'm going to set it for VHF for North America. 2 meters. Utah. Oh, Washington, D.C. Okay. It's 145 800. So .45 8 on FM. That didn't work. Okay, must not be transmitting. At least I'm in DC. I'm on the DC receiver. And it's going to go right over DC. So I've got on the DC receiver. So when it starts going again, we should see it. Let me load up SSTV. I don't know if I can do this in time. Oh, I don't have it in this computer, do I? Maybe I do. Let me try something else. MMSS. Yeah, I do have it. There we go. Alright, so let me move that over here. And let me options, MMSS TV options, miscellaneous, default sound card. It's going to be on the Seek sound card. There we go. That's that. Okay, I am receiving. You guys should be hearing it, but for some reason I don't hear it. Oh, let me try this. Okay, so I got it on. It's receiving. Let me go ahead and take... I'm working this, guys. Give me a second here. I'm doing like 10 things at once. Alright, I'm going to add... I need a window capture. For MMSS TV. Select window, MMSS TV, go. All right, let's see if we can hear it. I got the MMSS TV is on, it's working. We're receiving 145 800 from Washington, D.C. on FM. We should hear something any minute now if they're sending out. It's sitting right over DC right now. They do take a 2-minute break between images. So let's see if we hear anything. This sucks. I was really hoping it would pick something up. You know, we could see one come in real quick. I have the right frequency. I think I do. Yep, it's 145 800. I know I'm on the correct frequency. I'm on the correct demodulation. I don't know. It may be broke or something. Everything I'm reading here says it's on, it's active, and it's working, but we sure didn't hear it on that pass, did we? Okay, so let's see if we've got any other stations that are coming up ahead of this thing. So let's go back to the tracker. It's tracking down through Brazil. That kind of sucks. We should have heard something. But let me check and see what web SDRs we have. Well, there is a web SDR that's right in the path, and it does have the frequency range. So let's go to that one. Por favor. Alright, so let's go to VHF 1. $145,800. FN. Okay, we're receiving now 145 800 FM wideband. Wider band. Okay, we are receiving now on the right frequency. That station will come in range here in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to hang out with you for a few more minutes here. For those of you who stayed in, I do appreciate it. Let's try. We're going to give this a second chance. There may be something wrong with that. You know, you can't always assume that the radio's working or whatever that we were using to receive this. This next one that I'm using is PY7NM. This is in the eastern part of Brazil there, and it's going to go right over it. What in the hell? son of a bitch. That one will not tune down to that frequency. 146. No, it won't. I need this one, 140. This one will do it. All right, I'm on 145 800 in FM. 25 hertz. Wow, I wonder what the deal is. All right, this station is now in range of the space station as of about 20 or 30 seconds ago. After it passes Brazil, it won't be anywhere near a web SDR for several hours. It's got to go down under Africa and come back up, and it will eventually, the next land it will actually go over is going to be Indonesia sometime in the middle of the night. So that's kind of where we're at there. So we are monitoring here, waiting for an image to come in. Apparently it's not working. I don't know. I'm showing it getting ready to go over the coast of eastern Brazil right now. Well, I guess it's just not working. There will be another pass that's going to come through the middle of the country in about 90 minutes. It's going to come down through the Gulf of America and also right down the Florida Peninsula as well. So in about 90 minutes, that would be the next one there coming down. I don't know if it's going to be worth it or not. I don't know why we should be hearing this right now. I ain't hearing nothing. All right, well, I guess that's it. We would have heard something if there was something to hear. It would have gone out, and it's not. So, okay, I guess that's it for tonight. I'll check in the morning and see if they've listed that they're not doing it anymore. One like last year, there was one of these, and about halfway through, something happened to the radio, and they weren't going to have time to fix it, so they shut it down. They said, you know, they'll try to do the next one or whatever. Okay, guys, I guess that's it. Yeah, it's making the south coast now. It's starting to move away from the receiver site where we're listening. So I'm going to go ahead and call it, and that's going to be it. We're going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. I do appreciate everybody coming in. We are broadcasting live tonight from our studios in Southwest Florida. I do appreciate everybody being here, and we will be back tomorrow night for another episode of the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Please check out Starship After Dark. I'm slowly getting things back up. I had the 5.2 up and the SSTV up earlier, and they both crashed. So I've got to work on those in the morning. And then I also have a couple of scanner feeds up, and I'm also going to be putting up the Florida amateur radio stuff again. There'll be a total of, I think, 6 feeds when I get done. So keep an eye out on that. There will be some more feeds coming up on those channels. All right, or on the Starship After Dark channel. All right, thanks, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. I put that up there, the SEN at SEN Deploribus. That's the one right above me here, but it's a blank screen right now. I don't know if I can see flashes on there every now and then, but I did put it up anyway. It just, there's nothing going on right this minute. All right, so there we go. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good one. Live from Southwest Florida. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, the Sights and Sounds of Earth, live from Starship Studios. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for another episode. Have a good night, everybody, and a safe tomorrow. 7 3s.